Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha. At first, I offer my humble prayers in the lotus feet of Lord Shri Radha Krishna. I also extend warm greetings and respect to all of you. Today, from the scripture Shri Vivekcudamani, composed by Adi Shri Sankaracarya ji, we will be listening chapter number 11. The holy verse from the scripture are as follows. That which has been created by the buddhi, extremely deluded by nascence, and which is perceived in this body as I am, such and such, when that egoism is totally destroyed, one attains an unobstructed identity with Brahman. The treasure of the bliss of Brahman is coiled around by the mighty and dreadful serpent of egoism and guarded for its own use by means of its three fierce hoods consisting of three gunas. Only the wise man, destroying it by severing its three hoods with the great sword of realization in accordance with the teachings of the Shrutis, can enjoy this treasure which confers bliss. As long as there is trace of poisoning left in the body, how can one hope for recovery? Similarly is the effect of egoism on you. As long as there is a trace of poisoning left in the body, how can one hope for recovery? Similar is the effect of egoism on yogi's liberation. Through the complete cessation of egoism, through the stoppage of the diverse mental waves due to it, and through the discrimination of the inner reality, one realizes that reality as I am this. Give up immediately thy identification with egoism. The agent which is by its nature a modification is endued with a reflection of the self and diverts one from being established in the self, identifying thyself with which thou hast come by this relative existence, full of the miseries of birth, decay, and death. Thou art the witness, the essence of knowledge and bliss absolute. But for thy identification with that egoism, there can never be any transmigration for thee, who art immutable and eternally the same, the knowledge absolute, omnipresent, the bliss absolute, and of untarnished glory. Therefore, destroying this egoism, thy enemy, which appears like a thorn sticking in the throat of a man taking his meal, with the great sword of realization, enjoy directly and freely the bliss of thy own empire, the majesty of the Atman. Checking the activities of egoism and the like and giving up all attachment through the realization of the supreme reality, be free from all duality through the enjoyment of the bliss of self and remain quiet in Brahman, for thou hast attained thy infinite nature. Even though completely rooted out, this terrible egoism, if revolved in the mind, even for a moment, returns to life and creates hundreds of troubles like a cloud ushered in by the wind during the rainy season. Overpowering this enemy, egoism, not a moment's respite should be given to it by thinking on the sense objects. That is, verily the cause of its coming back to life, like water to a citron tree that has almost dried up. He alone who has identified himself with the body is greedy after sense pleasures. How can one devoid of the body idea be greedy like him? Hence, the tendency to think of the sense objects is verily the cause of the bondage of transmigration, giving rise to an idea of distinction or duality. When the effects are developed, the seed also is observed to be such, and when the effects are destroyed, the seed also is seen to be destroyed. Therefore, one must subdue the effects. Through the increase of desire, selfish work increases, and when there is an increase of selfish work, there is an increase of desire also, and man's transmigration is never at an end. For the sake of breaking the chain of transmigration, the sannyasi should burn to ashes those two, for thinking of the sense objects and doing selfish acts lead to an increase of desires. Augmented by these two desires produce one's transmigration. The way to destroy these three, however, lies in looking upon everything under all circumstances, always, everywhere, and in all respects as Brahman and Brahman alone. Through the strengthening of the longing to be one with Brahman, those three are annihilated. With the cessation of selfish action, the brooding of the sense objects is stopped, which is followed by the destruction of desires. The destruction of desires is liberation, and thus is considered to be liberation in life. When the desire for realizing Brahman has a marked manifestation, the egoistic desires readily vanish as the most intense darkness completely vanishes before the glow of the rising sun. Darkness and the numerous evils that attend on it are not noticed when the sun rises. Similarly, on the realization of the bliss absolute, there is neither bondage nor the least trace of misery. Causing the external and the internal universes which are now perceived to vanish, and meditating on the reality, the bliss embodied, one should pass one's time watchfully, if there be any residue of prarabdha work left. One should never be careless in one's steadfastness to Brahman. Bhagwan Sanat Kumar, who is Brahma's son, has called inadvertence death itself. There is no greater danger for the jnani than carelessness about his own real nature. From this comes delusion, thence egoism, that is followed by bondage, and then comes misery. Finding even a wise man hankering after the sense objects, oblivion torments him through the evil propensities of the buddhi, as a woman does her doting paramour. As such, even if removed, does not stay away for a moment, but covers the water again. So Maya or nescience also cover even a wise man if he is averse to meditation on the self. If the mind ever so slightly strays from the ideal and becomes outgoing, then it goes down and down, just as a play ball inadvertently dropped on the staircase bounds down from one step to another. The mind that is attached to the sense objects reflects on their qualities. From nature, reflection arises, desires, and after desiring, a man sets about having that thing. Hence, to the discriminating knower of Brahman, there is no worse death than inadvertence with regard to concentration. But the man who is concentrated attains complete success. Carefully concentrate thy mind on Brahman. Through inadvertence, a man deviates from his real nature, and the man who has thus deviated falls. The fallen man comes to ruin and is scarcely seen to rise again. Therefore, one should give up reflecting on the sense objects, which is the root of all mischief. He who is completely aloof, even while living, is alone aloof after the dissolution of the body. The Yajurveda declares that there is fear for one who sees the least bit of distinction. Whenever the wise man sees the least difference in the infinite Brahman, at once that which he sees as different through mistake becomes a source of terror to him. Thus conclude chapter number 11 from the scripture Shri Vivekcudamani. Thank you for listening. Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha.